Take a carrot, top it, tail it, cut it into bite-sized chunks and throw it into your food processor. Give it a couple of little pulses so you get it nice and fine, but you don't want to puree it. Do the exact same thing with your celery. Chop it into chunks. Give it a pulse and then set those aside. Take an onion, peel it, halve it and dice it. There are tutorials all over YouTube on how to do this. It doesn't need to be too fine. It's going to melt down in a minute, as you'll see. Take some smoked bacon, chop it up finely. You could use lardons, you could use pancetta, you can use whatever you've got as long as it's smoked. Drop in some olive oil, give it a fry off, let the fat render out. Then throw your veg in and cook it down for about 10 minutes. It'll start to caramelize, it'll break down, and it'll become almost paste-like in texture. Take that out of the pan, add in some olive oil, brown off your beef in batches. It's important to do this in batches because that way the beef will get the best possible flavor and caramelize on the outside. Deglaze the pan with some red wine. Go back in with your veg, give it a mix, and create a little hole in the middle. Add a dash of olive oil. Add in your garlic cloves. I used about 3 or 4, use as much as you like, and some tomato puree. After a minute or two, mix everything together. Tin of tomatoes, some passata. I used about half a carton. And then 2 tins of water. Add in a stock cube. I used veg. Then some basil. You want to leave that cook for about 2.5 hours. Make the white sauce now. This is 40 grams of butter, melt it down, add in 40 grams of flour. A minute or two, it'll start to smell nutty. At that point, go in with 400 mils of milk and don't spill it everywhere like I did. Keep whisking. If you keep whisking, it won't end up lumpy. After a couple of minutes, it starts to thicken up nicely. You can add in some Parmesan, or any hard cheese will do. Nutmeg, about maybe a teaspoon, and a pinch of salt and some pepper. Now we want to assemble. Go in with a layer of Bolognaise on the bottom, followed by some pasta. And then at this point, it's just pretty much rinsing and repeating, alternating layers between Bolognaise, pasta, white sauce, Bolognaise, pasta, white sauce. I also added a layer of cheese in the middle because that's how I like my lasagna, but you've got creative reign at this point. You can build it however you like. Making sure that you finish the lasagna with some white sauce and some cheese on top to get a nice crunchy, crispy top. Into the oven at 220 for 20 minutes uncovered. Take it out, cover it up, and give it another 15 minutes covered. Leave it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. And that's your finished product.